In this section, we also look at solving polynomial equations using the nth root property. So we are given an equation, x to the power n equals some expression, and we'll take the nth root of both sides. If n is odd, then the nth root of n is just x, and I turn my equation into a radical equation. But if n is even, and k is positive, then the nth root of x to the n is the absolute value of x. And our equation is the absolute value of x equals the nth root of our expression. That absolute value of x ultimately leads to x being plus or minus the nth root of our expression. Some examples: x cubed equals negative 8. So if we take the cube root of x cubed and the cube root of negative 8, since it's odd, cube root of x cubed is x, cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. For x squared equals 4, I can take the square root, x squared equals square root of 4, and then the square root of x squared becomes absolute value of x. Square root of 4 is 2, and that means that x could be positive 2 or negative 2. When we take the even root of both sides of an equation, instead of writing the absolute value part, we just write plus or minus the radical. And when we apply the property, we need to get that x to the power by itself. So let's take a look at this example. 4x squared equals 49. I want to get x squared by itself, so I'll divide both sides by 4. X squared equals 49 divided by 4. So if I take a square root of both sides to get rid of that square, I need to remember the plus or minus so that I don't have to fiddle with the absolute value of x. And then plus or minus the square root of 49 fourths. I can look at this as the square root of 49 over the square root of 4, and square root of 49 is 7, square root of 4 is 2, and I have two answers, plus or minus 7/2. I could also solve this equation using methods we've already seen. We can solve this using factoring. 4x squared equals 49. Let's see if we get the same results. We should, but let's go through it. I need to get it equal to 0 first. 4x squared minus 49 equals to 0. This is a difference of squares. 2x is being squared and 7 is being squared. So when I factor 2x minus 7, 2x plus 7, 2x minus 7 equals 0, x equals 7/2, 2x plus 7 equals 0, x equals negative 7/2. I get the same answers whether I use the nth root property or I use my factoring. In this section, I'd like you to practice using the nth root property. We'll take a look at problems 6 and 8 on this page, and I'll leave 7 for you to try on your own. You can go back and check. We want to solve 3 times x plus 2 squared equals 36. So we need to isolate what's being squared. What's being squared is that x plus 2. So we'll divide by 3. 36 divided by 3 will give me 12. If I take a square root of both sides, because it's an even, I have plus or minus square root 12. And I need to simplify this radical. I can't leave it as the square root of 12. 12 is 4 times 3, which would be 2 root 3 if I take the square root of 4. X plus 2 equals plus or minus 2 root 3. I need to get the x by itself, so we'll subtract 2. On the right, this minus 2 is not a like radical to 2 root 3, so I have to keep them separate. So negative 2 plus or minus 2 root 3 are my solutions for x. And I get 2 with that plus or minus. Negative 2 plus 2 root 3 and negative 2 minus 2 root 3. 2 solutions. We'll keep our answer in radical form. Don't try to use the calculator and get a decimal answer. We'll just leave it. Pause and try number 7 on your own. I know it's an odd exponent. See if you can come up with the answer. And now for number 7, did you get x equals negative 3? If so, good job. If not, try to find your mistake. You can go check the OneNote. And then number 8, here's another perfect cube problem. We already have the expression isolated, so let's take a cube root of both sides. And I don't need a plus minus here because my index 3 is odd. I only use that plus minus on even roots. So 2 minus 5x on the left side. Cube root of negative 125 is negative 5. I can subtract 2 from both sides. I can divide by my negative 5. And negative 7 divided by negative 5. The negatives can simplify, so we just get positive 7/5.